Hello everyone, my name is Josh Atkins, firefighter with the Bowling Green Fire Department, and this is Firehouse Kitchen. What many of you may not know is that in addition to working with each other, we also live together for 24-hour shifts. At some point we all have to eat, so we do our share of cooking around the fire halls. Today we're here to show you some of our favorite recipes along with sharing some fire safety tips for you to take home. Here today we have a crew from Station 4 here to share a recipe with you all for Caesar chicken wraps. And I'm going to allow these gentlemen to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what they do with the fire department.
Yes, I am the captain of Engine 4 on B shift currently. My name is Steve Candela. I have my firefighter Alex Perkinson here with us. And we were going to show you a quick and easy recipe for chicken Caesar salad wraps, which seems to be a big hit at the firehouse. We seem to go to it pretty frequently just because of the ease of it. The ingredients are very easily readable at most of your stores around town, and it goes together pretty quick. And even if we have to have a run in the middle of it, we can always come back and it's still fresh, even a couple hours later.
Like you said, firefighter Alex Perkinson. I am his firefighter on Engine 4 at Station 4 on B shift.
All right, so why did you guys choose the chicken Caesar salad wraps today? Is it a hit for your crew, and who came up with that recipe?
I think the rendition of the recipe has been passed around from firefighters over the years. You know, I mean, it's one that I've always kind of gone to when the guys can't really figure out what they want to cook that day. Everybody seems to go for chicken. We're all kind of health conscious, so we stick to the salad type food groups. And then we chose this today just because of the ease of it and being able to show you how quickly a really good meal can be put together, especially when we're on the go and we're making runs and having to go to training in between. And it's something that anybody at the station can put together. There's really not a whole lot to it.
Sounds good. So, are we ready to dive in? Talk
Absolutely.
about some of our ingredients?
Yeah, so the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and get our romaine lettuce washed and cut up. So we'll come over here and just give it a quick rinse.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Always a good idea to wash your produce. There you go.
Sweet.
While Alex starts cutting up the lettuce, I'll wash our tomatoes. We like to have tomatoes in our wraps as well.
Add a little color.
Absolutely. There's probably several different ways that you can put together Caesar salad wraps. This is just one that I decided to go with today. I kind of made this up on my own, but a lot of people at the firehouse, they seem to get really nervous about cooking for a bunch of firefighters. Did you ever experience that?
Yeah, a little bit. With myself still being relatively new, 2-year guy. It was a little intimidating in the beginning, cooking for a full crew of guys, not knowing what everybody's likes and dislikes were, and just kind of waiting on, you know, that stamp of approval from your crew.
Yeah. How many times do these kids get out of college and decide they want to become a fireman, and they get on shift and all of a sudden they're thrown into the mix of having to cook for 6 guys, and they've never cooked a meal in their entire lives?
Absolutely.
They get nervous.
Yeah. The nerves were definitely a real thing for me. luckily I landed on a crew of guys that were pretty decent chefs and didn't mind sharing some of their tips and tricks of the trade.
Pretty sure I'm trying to help Alex go out on a limb a little bit and try to learn some new recipes himself.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, it sounds like these wraps that you all come up with are a pretty big hit at Station 4 for your crew. And we all know that after a good meal, sometimes that means it's nap time for some of us. So if maybe you could dive into a little bit of a tip that we call close before you doze.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. So close before you doze. Some of you guys might have heard of this, might have not. It is a very widely researched topic in the fire ground. So it's close before you doze, meaning when you're at home, you go to bed, turn the lights out, you're gonna want to close your door just because of the amount of heat and smoke that could be hitting into your room. Researchers have shown that with a door closed, there's gonna be about 100 degrees in your room as opposed to a door with the as opposed to a room with the door open. It's going to be more of like 1,000 degrees, which 100 degrees is still hot, don't get me wrong, but it's a much more livable heat than a 1,000 degree room.
Absolutely.
So just keep in mind when you go to sleep, just close your door, just to keep that room safe and livable in case there is a fire or something like that.
Not just your room, make sure that your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know when they're on the other side of the house, you want to have access to be able to hear them, whether they're crying or, you know, you want to make sure that they're staying in their room at night. Keeping the door closed will ensure that, but it also will keep them safer no matter where a fire could be in the house. I know it kind of goes against what some people think. My wife included wants to be able to hear our child, so I made sure that we had a monitor, right? So the monitor is what we use to listen to and to watch our kids when they're sleeping. On top of that, close before you doze is very big on having smoke detectors, not only inside the bedrooms, but in the hallways immediately outside the bedroom. Because if their doors are shut, the smoke detectors in their room may not go off. But if there's one right outside their room in the hallway, at least that will be close enough to their room to where they'll be able to hear it. And then if we could go even further to say that we can teach them, you know, to not go out into the room, but to get to a window with a bright or white colored shirt and to open up that window and let everybody know around that they're in that room. The toxic smoke and gases on top of the heat, he talked about the temperature differences between a closed bedroom versus open. And a closed bedroom, like he said, could get up to in the 100 to 120 degree range. And an open bedroom will get up over 1,000, which is not tenable. But the toxic smoke and gases that fires produce now, because so many more things, couches and all of your furnishings are being made out of plastic. Those carcinogens and that amount of toxic smoke, it takes so little of that to breathe in to kill you, to ruin your life. And keeping your door closed keeps that stuff out of your room as well.
All right, looks like you all got the produce kind of chopped up and rinsed.
Yeah, so
what's the next step?
The next step is we're gonna just kind of split this chicken up between the two of us here. We're gonna put some gloves on. We like to wear our medical gloves while we shred up the chicken. Most of the time, because when we get them, they're super hot too, so it kind of keeps your fingers from getting burnt. But then it's also safer, just food-wise, keeping everything clean and healthy, you know, to where we're not passing around germs.
Sure.
I mean, it's one thing that you wash your hands and all that, but this just takes it a step further.
Understandable.
Then you don't have to wash your hands as hard either. The rotisserie chickens at our stores around here are a pretty big hit because it's already cooked.
Absolutely.
Saves us time on the front end of cooking it and getting it prepared.
That's right.
And
You never
it
know
still
when you might have
tastes
to
really
leave.
good. Yeah. Yeah, we have to leave pretty often, and it's always in the most inconvenient of times, right? It's
Right.
always, we're in the middle of cooking or getting something ready, or we're sleeping, right? Go ahead and just split her up. I'll take the 2 legs. So on these rotisserie chickens that you get at the store, you can use just about every bit of it. We'll clean it completely off. I'm working here with the leg and the thigh area. Some people like the skin, some don't. If it were a really nice, crispy skin, I'm a fan, but when it goes into the salad here, it gets all slimy and stuff, so I just take the skin off. I skin them and then just start putting in the chicken. If you haven't tore apart a chicken before, it can be a little daunting the first time, and there are little bones that you wouldn't think are in the legs and leg areas, but there's small bones all over the place. You want to make sure that none of that gets in your salad. Nobody wants to bite into that.
Sure. And I know a question that when I came into the fire service, how do you know how much to prepare for your crew?
What's the old saying? Too much is way better than too little, I guess.
Figuring up portions that's a task in itself, right?
Sure.
When I first started, I could remember the saying that when you're cooking burgers or anything like that, half a pound per person. Well, when you're cooking for firefighters, I'm telling you, a pound a man.
Sure
We sure know how to eat. It is not like going to somebody else's house for dinner where everybody's, just taking it easy on how much they're eating. We like to eat, but that's usually because we're burning it off too. We're working out and we are going on runs and we're working hard every day, so we're able to burn off all that extra calories. But back to answer your question, figuring out portions for this, normally I would do this for a 4-man station. 1 chicken is usually good enough for that. If we were cooking for our 6-man crew at our station, we run 2 trucks at Station 4, an engine company and a truck company. When there's 6 guys, I'll usually do 2 chickens, basically double everything that you're seeing here.
Okay. Makes sense. And a lot of people that are watching may be interested in learning or figuring out how you determine who cooks which days.
That has changed over the years. When I first started, you used to have a 2-week cook period, is what we called it. So in that 2-week time frame that you just start it and then the next person cooks for 2 weeks. But during that 2 weeks, we work 5 shifts. During those 5 shifts, you were responsible for a lunch and a dinner meal prepared by you, all 5 of those shifts. And then it would be the next person's turn. So you wouldn't have to cook again for about a month or 2 before everybody else had their opportunity to cook. Now, we've kind of changed it up to where, well, you can kind of explain it because I don't have to cook anymore. We can also talk about that too.
We've kind of come up with a calendar system. So got to kind of post it in our food locker where we have each individual person's name in there, whether that's firefighter or a engineer, and whether or not they cooked last day or if they'll put it on the calendar, and basically it'll be a by shift rotation. So you won't be cooking more than 1 shift. The next day you'll be sitting back, relaxing, let the other guy cook, basically. So more of a rotation kind of schedule now.
Seems to be a little less nerving for anyone that may be nervous about stepping in cooking right away, just because it sounds pretty grueling having that 1 month rotation where you're preparing 2 meals
and to be creative too.
Absolutely.
I know we work every 3rd day, but even every 3rd day, somebody doesn't want to eat hamburgers every 3rd day, right? So you had to get creative and learn new recipes, which it made me grow. I mean, I know Alex, he's got a couple of recipes and he kind of sticks to those couple, right? Because he only has to cook once every couple weeks.
Right.
So we don't get tired of eating the same meals over and over again anymore, right? So there's definitely bonuses to the way that they do it now. But I was going to say, you asked about cooking. Once you become a captain in the Bowling Green Fire Department, it's kind of an unwritten rule that you don't have to cook anymore. Luckily for these guys out at our station, we have 2 captains out there, me and Chris Durbin, that we enjoy to cook. I like to cook. I cook a lot at home, and I'm starting to teach my kids how to cook. So on the weekends, usually on Saturdays and Sunday shifts, we'll bring in all kinds of stuff for breakfast, and we won't have lunch that day. We usually eat a gigantic breakfast. I'm talking 4 pounds of bacon and 3 pounds of sausage and a couple dozen eggs. I mean, we eat a good breakfast, and then him and I will decide on something for dinner. But we still cook for them occasionally, and I'm sure they appreciate it too, because you know they're working hard for us.
Absolutely.
All the rest of the time during the week.
It's a nice little treat.
Yeah. So everybody likes bacon. So this isn't necessarily part of the recipe, but I will throw in a bag of bacon bits because it's bacon.
Everybody likes it. That's right.
On top of that, we're going to go with some Parmesan cheese. You can either get this or the stuff in a can. I like this because it's more like shredded cheese than it is all crumbled up. You can go with the whole bag if you want to. Croutons, you can get any kind. Kroger brand, cheesy garlic, I guess is what we got. They got seasoned croutons. You can get just about any kind. Sometimes you want to let this sit for a little bit after we put in the dressing and mix it. That way it has time to soften up those croutons. Because last thing you want to do is bite into a tortilla with a really hard, crunchy crouton and tear up the inside of your mouth. But we'll just put basically the whole thing in there.
That's about right.
I am not necessarily a recipe follower. I could create this recipe for you, but yeah, go ahead and mix that all up. I've been cooking for so long that it's very natural to me. You know, I don't necessarily have a 1 cup of this and 2/3 cup of that. Like I work to taste.
A little bit of measuring with love, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got it.
All right.
So while he mixes that up, we'll let it sit for just a minute, and then we'll be able to plate it on the tortillas. And
I'm pretty excited about what you've got going on here with the Flamin' Hot Doritos.
there's a lot of firefighters that do not like spicy food, but we're not them. If it's hot, we're all about it. We found these new Flamin' Hot Cool Ranch Doritos that Doritos has come up with, and they're not sponsoring anything, by the way. These things are delicious. So we decided to pair it with the wraps for today. And have you tried them?
I have not tried them, so I'm looking forward to it.
In for a treat, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
These wraps are coming together now. Looks like they're about done. You want to give them a try?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get them plated up. We have a couple of different tortilla choices. You can use any tortillas. We found some spinach and herb wraps and some high fiber extreme wellness wraps. Which would you like?
I'll try the spinach herb.
All right, cool. So yeah, not every meal at the Firehouse necessarily is going to be something that's complex and takes a long time to cook. You know, most of the time, because of the chance of us having to go out on a run, you can wrap that up on your own. We want something quick and simple and easy, and something that we can just throw together. And if we had to go on a run right now, we go on the run, come back, it's still in the same shape that it was before we left. So it's good to go all day. And that's usually what we need to go for.
Okay. I'll definitely want to get my hands on some of those as well.
Go ahead and plate. I'll get some. There's another plate back there. With the green wrap.
Yeah, please.
There you go. You good at making wraps? Wrapping stuff up?
Not really. Usually I make a big mess. I usually have a fork sitting on the side of my plate just in case. All right, let's give those a shot.
Absolutely.
Those are pretty good, Steve. Wow. Awesome. I understand why those things they don't last long. Well, folks, thank you for joining us for this edition of Firehouse Kitchen. I want to give a special thanks to Captain Steve Candela and firefighter Alex Ferguson for sharing one of their favorite recipes at Station 4. And also thank you for your fire tips as well. And for more, if you want to view this episode, you can go to www.vgky.videos and you can find this recipe along with others.